One day a daughter goes to her father and says, "What is the value of a girl's life who falls into vice?" The father looked at her and says, "Wow, this is a good question," then says, "Daughter, if you want to know the value of a girl's life who falls into vice, tomorrow when the king is leaving the palace with his procession, throw yourself in front of his horse and tell me what you experienced." The daughter obeyed her father. She went to the king's palace and threw herself in front of the king's horse during the king's processional exit. The next day, the father says to his daughter, "I want you to go back to the king's palace and throw yourself in front of the king's horse again when he's leaving the palace with his procession." The daughter says, "I want this." Daughter goes back to the palace and throws herself in front of the king's horse when he's leaving the palace. But the king just passed by her without giving her a glance or recognition. Instead, one of the king's ministers picked her up, and she had to go home alone. Surprised, the daughter runs home to her father and says, "Father, the king did not even look at me. Instead, his minister picked me up and let me come home alone." "Okay, daughter, tomorrow go back to the king's palace and throw yourself in front of the minister." The daughter didn't want to go, but she told her father okay. The next day, the daughter again runs to the king's palace and throws herself in front of the minister. But no one looked at her in the king's procession. Only a passerby from the common people picked her up. The daughter runs back home very angry this time and told her father she will not go back ever. But her father pleaded, "Please, my daughter, tomorrow is the last day to go there." The next day, the daughter, very sad, runs to the king's palace and throws herself in front of the king's horse again during his processional exit. But no one cared about her except for a dog that wetted her face with his tongue. The daughter goes back home crying and says, "Father, father, no one cared about me except for a dog that wet her face with his tongue." Father said to her, "This is the case for a girl who falls in society. A rich person or a reckless young man takes her and then leaves her to someone less than him, until one day she becomes cheap commodity for street dogs."
So it is upon you, my daughter, to decide the value of your life. Your life is a precious gift, and your worth is not determined by others but by your own actions and the choices you make. Choose wisely, believe in yourself and your life, and decide whether you want to fall into vice. The essence of this story: all fathers must learn how to raise their children properly, using wisdom and not violence. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more future